Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. All right, let's take a look at what we're seeing here. So, pretty strong down move we had yesterday. This is obviously the start of an intraday sell model. I think all this low resistance liquidity is going to get run. We have another low. So we just hit the first low, but I think this has a lot more room down. So what we could easily see here is a little retracement and then some kind of a short setup later on, targeting this low and then this low for next week. So as far as where we're going here, hold on one second. As far as where we're going here, we're looking at this weekly fair value gap. That is the objective, I think, as far as a draw on liquidity. So I would love to see that hit. And yeah, we'll just be very patient and wait for a setup. I think there still should be a setup today to target these lows. Now, there is an inversion that just happened on the 1 minute chart. Personally, I'm not going to be taking this. Though, if you want, you can try this with a 50% target. Let me see here, actually. Hold on. From high to low. And we'll just keep the quarterly fibs on just so we have them. But this is a potential draw easily. So you would target that 50% level. That's where I think we're probably going to go here, gun to my head. We had a manipulation, sweep of liquidity, macro time, and the draw. Also, I will note, though, that we could also be using this as a 50%, so you have to be super careful. But if we start pressing past that internal high, let me draw this in red. If we start pushing, oh, okay. Oh, because where's the low here? Okay, so 50% is here for red and here for blue. So I think this is the draw. Again, gun to my head right here. So I'm just paying attention to just legs of price, right? So we swept liquidity, inversion fair value gap, and now this is the draw on liquidity, which is that 50% of this leg. Now we could easily go to this 50%, so that's right here. I'm just drawing quarterly levels, but pay attention to what happens at this quarterly level. We should use that as a bullish reaction to go up to this 50%. Sorry about that. Okay, so pretty nice pump higher there. Is this a volume imbalance on the daily? Yeah, interesting. So we've already tagged it once, but we do have a volume imbalance here and a new week opening gap. That's also a really strong draw. But for those of you guys who don't know, August and September are typically very bearish months in the market. In fact, I think it's either August or September is the most bearish historically. So I said this before on the stream, but I want to see pullbacks in August, September, and hopefully a long setup that occurs from within this weekly fair value gap at the end to middle of September. Somewhere here is where I'm going to be looking for continuation long to the upside for the rest of the year. What's up, Kay? Good morning, brother. Morning, good morning. You really want to see a very strong green candle here. There is an inversion setup happening, but I'm not going to take one just yet. Yeah, I'm really sleepy. Oaf, can you explain how to use the power of 3 4-hour candle? Um, I mean, it's pretty simple. This is the 4-hour candle. This is the power of 3 manipulation. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So if we highlight, so let's go over to this part of the chart. Okay, I'm going to highlight in orange, or in red, I mean. And then we're going to label the high on the 4-hour. Now, I don't know if there was an exact manipulation here, but we'll find out. Like a very perfect manipulation. So if we go over to the 1-minute chart. So it's pretty much this. We had accumulation during the London session actually had a pretty big dump, but we had accumulation in the pre-New York session. We had data here at 8:30. We swept the data, inversion fair value gap, this is the power of 3 manipulation. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That's what's happening here. Does that make sense, Kay? Accumulation during the pre-New York data candle. This is all accumulation, manipulation above the high, inversion fair value gap, and a short. And then the target is liquidity, and you can see that first level of liquidity got targeted there. Let me know if that makes sense. Wow. Yeah, I really am sleepy, huh? If the data low is not swept, then that would be a good trade to take. Yeah. I definitely think so. The tough part with this one, I still would have liked this short anyways, because first of all, look at this on the hourly chart. Yesterday we had this collapse, which tells me that we'd have a lot of momentum down. It's just tough because we'd already swept some liquidity. So if you took this, it'd have to be a smaller size position. And we also had a new week opening gap above it, but I still think this was pretty decent. And now my draw, again, guys, we have the 50% of this leg. We just touched it, so congrats if you took that trade. And now we have the 50% of this leg, which could easily come as well. And then from there, we might even get a reversal from here. So we'll see what happens in that fair value gap. But this was an inversion. The reason I did not take this, number one, we are in a sell program. I'm not trying to take inversions to the upside. Number two, we have lots of sell side liquidity still resting below us. And we have this weekly gap. This is my drawn liquidity right now. So every setup I'm going to be looking for is going to be to the short side. Okay, I'm not going to be taking bullish inversions. Historically, Kay, I just explained that August and September are the most bearish months in the stock market. So make sure you guys write that down, by the way. August and September are the most bearish bearish months in the market historically. So typically we have sell-offs in August, September. We get accumulation towards that time, and we finish the year strong. So December October, November, December are normally. October sometimes is bearish, but normally we get good buy prices in October, and we use that to run through September and December, through November and December. Applies to all markets, every single market, apart from specific commodities that have some, I don't know, major discoveries, or it just depends. But like, I guess you could call it an unnatural market. So commodities are a natural market, right? Grains, gold, whatever types of metals you're looking at. But as far as like the crypto markets and the currency markets and just the general S&P, NASDAQ markets, all of those are cyclical. Yeah. So once this 50% taps, I'm going to look for some kind of a short setup here. I don't think we're going all the way back up to high of day here. We might, but I really doubt it. So I want to see a clean move through this 50%, a tap into this 1 minute inversion fair value gap, and then I want to see some kind of a downside setup. If we don't get a setup, we don't get a setup. But again, the reason being is we still have major sell side liquidity we missed here, and I'm not taking bullish fair value gaps when I know we're on a high time frame sell program. If you look at this, guys, this is the start of a high time frame sell program. And the ultimate draw on liquidity is going to be this weekly fair value gap. So why am I looking for longs when the draw on the high time frame is short? I hope that makes sense. So nothing A plus here. I need to see more of a manipulation higher. So let's say we tap into this 25% and then we get a move higher and then we get an inversion. That will be pretty good in my view. Okay, nice push there. Let's see if we can get that 50%. Let's look at the rest of the market real quick. I was looking at TLT. The bond market was consolidating here, and it looks like we might start a potential leg to target some of these fair value gaps. Mag 7 and a few other stocks I'm watching. Big dump on Amazon. This might be a buy the dip opportunity. I'll take a look at this a little later. Riot down 14%. We took off most of our position on Riot, thank goodness. Nike down. Everything is down, obviously, because of the whole situation. VIX is up 20%. Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's keep an eye on NQ here. I'm doing good, Kay. How are you doing, sir? Need to get a haircut. That's what I need to do. So again, that 50% should come now. See if we get the pump through it. So this is where I'm looking for a potential setup. I want to see maybe a push through that 50% and then some kind of a rejection. Maybe a tap into this inversion and then a rejection. And then there is a set of perfect equal lows that just formed here. I mean, there's 3 of them, but they're not really obvious. So I don't really count them, but I still think they'll hit right there. And then maybe continuation lower after that. Let's see, though. Let's see. What I will say, guys, is that we have a level here at 22,93275. This is a major magnet for price. I think that this is going to be almost like they're going to hold the market in this general area today. That's my guess. Around here. I'll draw it in yellow. Or maybe I'll keep it in black. No. What color should I make it? Red? And then I'll make it a little more solid. So this is like a draw on the market for today. And that's just, I'm not going to explain exactly how I get that, but I will just tell you that. Okay, so we'll see that 50% hit, and then hopefully this inversion, and then maybe we get a setup from this. What I'm going to guess happens here is we close up into this, close above it, like kind of induce a lot of traders long, and then we reject the market back to this general range. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. By the way, fun fact, if you look at the London session, we have 3 sets of perfect equal highs here. So just keep these on your chart because there is going to be a day where we absolutely rip in the markets and these are going to hit. If it's today, so be it, but we'll see what we get. So we have a set of equal highs here. We have a set of equal highs right here, looks like. They should be here. They're there. Let me just check that they're the correct ones. Hold on, guys. Yes, that is correct. And then there's another set. Where are they? I think they're using these two, but... Oh, no, they're not. They're using these right here. Okay, so there's 3 sets of equal highs up here. So these are going to be labeled on my chart, just so we have them. But those are going to be a draw for later on. Okay, there's the tag up into the inversion. Let's see how we react here. So any pushes higher today, I'm going to be looking for shorts, but we need to, again, see a setup. If we don't see a setup, then we can't do anything, but hopefully we get like a fake close above this. So this is what I'd be looking for, is a fake close above this. Like it would actually close, and then we'd get a complete rejection candle. That would be a good short to target this level. And today, guys, the range is so large, like the amount of dollars you'll get for just this short is huge. So even with a micro contract. So if you do 1 or 2 micro contracts, copy it off of 4 or 5 50K accounts, you can still make a ton. So just keep that in mind. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm just doing something. Okay, coordinates. 23, 108 flat. 22, 9, 3, 4.75. All right. Okay, so basically the short would happen from this candle right here. That's my thought process right now. At 23,021.5 would be where it would go, where it would come from. If it's gonna happen. So right here pretty much. So this would be the candle. We want to see an inversion happen maybe on the 15-second or the 30-second. Okay, so I don't see any fair value gaps forming, unfortunately, but I'm gonna guess this is where the market rejects. Gun to my head. Yep. Damn. So I don't see any, there's not really any A plus gaps, sadly, but this is where we fail. Damn. I really wish there was an A plus inversion that formed here, but there's nothing, not even on the 15 or the 32nd. But again, I still think this is going to be the draw and this, so any longs here I'd be so careful with. I would rather see shorts, but I'm not being given anything here, so I don't know what to do apart from sit out. Has anyone else taken any setups today? Still nothing. Unfortunately. I think this is where the dump happens, by the way, but again, there's just nothing, so nothing I can take. If you guys really want to try something, I mean, you can try taking this 1 minute fair value gap short. I don't even know if it's going to touch into it, but would be the objective here. You guys see how I called the short exactly? I said from the wick of this candle right there, that would be the short. Even though there's no setup, I can still tell you where it's going to reject from. That's pretty wild. There was a 15-second fair value gap that was somewhat clean, but not clean enough. That sucks. But yeah, I think the draw is these 3 lows now, and then again, this level that I told you guys about, that I'm not going to explain how I got, but this area of price. So if you really want to enter a short here, this is the short. And your stop loss would have to really be a hard stop. I'd keep it like right here at the body of this candle, and you would target these equal lows. So this is about a 2.6 to 1 RR trade. Let's see if it plays out. But again, this is the draw. Trade into the 1 minute bearish fair value gap. Trading into those equal lows is the target. How did I know? It's so crazy. I literally told you to the tick where that was going to reject. Again, does that mean I'm taking a setup? Obviously not, but I said I wanted to see a nice green candle here up to the wick of this candle at the 938, and then a big down close candle. And that's what we got right there. And then again, this is the draw. Now, because of the manipulation on the day, I would suggest taking some partials here in case it doesn't hit. But this is the this could be an exit area. Again, guys, this is not a setup. I'm not taking this. There was a 15-second short. I don't take 15-second setups. But that doesn't mean I can't tape read it and guess where price is going to go based on experience. I hope nobody shorted based on that anyways, but I'm just... So you see that? I said to take partials right there, and look what they did. They manipulated it higher. I still think this is going to end up continuing lower, but hopefully we get a setup. We'll see. Another trade into this bearish 1 minute gap. So now we fully filled it. Now I'm guessing this is going to be where the dump happens. But again, this is not a setup. This is just something that I'm observing. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the market real quick. I got some alerts on some stocks. Okay, so Google, Starbucks, and Boeing. Amazon in a very interesting spot. This is something I want to add more of, but I need more pullback than this. So like for example, right now on Amazon, I'm looking for this gap. So if Amazon can fill this gap, this is something that I'll definitely be buying in. Why is it not letting me set alerts? Okay, let me exit out of TradingView quick because I think it's glitching out. And then I'll reopen it in a second. All right. So I don't know if I don't have any alerts left. Is that what it is? No. There we go. Okay, so I have my alerts there. XLV is another one I'm paying attention to. If we can get down to this 127 level and 122 level, these are going to be heavy ad spots for me for the healthcare sector. Wow, UNH still dumping. Amazon SOXL is another one I want to add. If we can get into this gap, I will be adding that. So at $15, give or take, we're going to be adding more to SOXL. Tesla selling off quite a bit, but back up to 307 after going below 300 again today. Pretty crazy. Boeing is another one. I would potentially add more of this. But you guys can see we did finally fill that weekly gap here, and the monthly fair value gap was filled. So we're obviously rejecting after filling that monthly gap. We're forming more trendline liquidity on Boeing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see consolidation for who knows how long. This consolidation went on from 2020 till 2025. Man, that's crazy. But yeah, we could easily see continuation at some point. So I may be adding this. If I do, I'll alert it in the community. ASML, another one I'm adding more of. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit scary of a pattern, like that head and shoulders look. But I think ASML is awesome for the long term. I don't really pay attention to head and shoulders on the monthly charts because that's just not smart. I mean, you can see head and shoulders here and it ends up continuing massively. Probably a head and shoulders on the weekly chart somewhere here. Kind of head and shoulders-y. 1, 2, 3, and then continuation. This is a 2022 crash, so this one actually kind of played out, but I don't think this will be. My objective for ASML here on the weekly chart is this fair value gap, and then we have not really anything on the monthly, but this is another one I'm paying attention to. Uber is one I kind of want to short. I'm not going to lie. This looks so good to me as a shorting pattern. If we can inverse this on the weekly chart and Tesla continues to outperform in the robotaxi sector, I think if this weekly chart closes below, I am going to try a small short on Uber. Stop loss will be here, and I'm really going to target. There's going to be a lot of areas I want to target for this, but primarily I'm looking at this fair value gap right here. And then I'm looking at this fair value gap that formed in October of 2023. So my two targets on this will be this and then this low right here on the weekly chart. This to me looks really good though. It's so clean. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, guys, look at that. Rejection here, inversion, target. And I think this goes lower, but again, that would be my trade on the day, but I missed it, unfortunately, and this was way too small. I would never take this, right? The inversion happened on this candle. What am I going to take this for a... How many points was this? 12-point move? Nah. But you can see exactly what I said would play out, played out. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this could honestly dump all the way to this low again. But I would definitely be partialing here in that special level I told you guys about that acts as a magnet for price for today. I think we're just going to be range bound. That's my guess. Or this might have been the high and we continue lower, but no setup here that I would take. What the heck? Hold on one second, guys. Oh, there was another few stocks I was looking at here. Did Oracle sell off? Hold on. So Qualcomm actually had a pretty big sell yesterday. This is one I might add as well. We have a very strong monthly fair value gap here. Traded into this bearish fair value gap in April. Costco's another potential one. Qualcomm. Where's Oracle here? And W. This is another one I'm looking to add to. I'm going to set some alerts a little bit lower here on PanW. Maybe, let's see if there's any daily gaps to fill. Maybe start a position here at this, in this daily gap here. I think this would be a good spot. Maybe at the low of it. Okay, so I have that alert set. Where is Oracle here? Oh, Oracle with barely a sell-off. If Oracle ends up getting back down to 188, which, I mean, it's possible but unlikely, a 20% dump from here, this is a spot I would add it for sure. So let's add our alert there. You guys have to get used to only buying or starting new positions at severe discounts. If you don't get a severe discount, it's not really worth it. Triple M. UNH. I would like to start a position on UNH below 200, probably around 150 to be honest. That's where I'm going to add it. And the reason being, again, for those of you who are new, the reason being that I'm looking at 150, number one, number one is this yearly fair value gap is resting there, but I will start adding below 188. So pay attention to this wick on the yearly. This is going to be super important for the long term. Okay, NQ still rejecting here. I still think everything here is a short. Whoops. I'm really liking a continuation short. I think there's definitely going to be more potential for lows today. But there just isn't a setup that's good enough for me here. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really want to try a short to fill this imbalance. So TP will be here in this 1 minute imbalance. Gonna keep a stop above this high. Ooh, that's a huge stop. Let's keep it at a 1 for 1. I'll keep it at a little bit less than a 1 for 1. So the reason that I'm looking for this level here is there's a fair value gap here on the 1 minute chart. And we're super bearish, so this is a draw. See if it hits. If we form another 1 minute candle here and it sweeps that low, I'm going to have to move my stop to break even. But yeah, I think this should work. Yeah, so if this 1 minute candle sweeps this low, I'm going to have to move my stop. So I haven't moved it yet. My hand is on the button just in case we do get a quick dump here. I'm going to keep it tighter than that. So not quite a 1 for 1, but almost a 1 for 1. I just think every high is going to get... I think we're just going to keep making lower highs and lower lows. That's my thesis here. Again, could I be wrong? Sure. It's a very small 1 for 1 trade. If you guys really are conservative, I mean, you're more risky, you can put your stop loss above this candle's wick. I'm not willing to risk that personally on this account, but you can do whatever you want. Really want to see red candles here. Also, guys, I've had a pretty nice week. And it's a Friday, so if this fails, this will probably be my 1 trade of the day. Okay, so not quite a sweep of the high. Let's see though. Really, you'd want to see that be the high. You don't want to see it go back up here. Okay, that's a nice candle on the 1 minute. On a bearish day, every 1 minute high holds. So we'll see if that ends up being the case here. All right, there's a stop out. So that'll probably be my one trade. Again, this is probably still going to come down here. It's just a matter of when. It was a chase. There was no inversion set up. It was a 1-for-1 pretty much scalp, and that was the end of it. So I've had a really good week, so I'm not going to just risk unnecessarily on a Friday. I'd rather end my Friday or my week green for the week. Watch how that ends up being the high they sweep and then they dump it. We'll see though. It looks like that was the high they're going to sweep. That sucks. That is so unfortunate. So they swept us high by a couple of ticks, and now the rejection is probably happening again. Is there anything I can do to control that? No. But the reality is sometimes they will stop you out, and then they'll continue it. So if you're in this short still, guys, if this low gets swept, I would definitely move your stop to break even. But don't be surprised again. Like I said, we have this general level here that I talked about being a magnet for price. Every time we go outside of the range we extend, we come back. But eventually this fair value gap should hit. It's just a matter of time. Again, there is no real setup here. This that I took was basically a chase, and I was willing to accept a basically 1-for-1 risk on it. And yeah, I got stopped out, so. But what I will say, for you guys who are maybe more so focused on long-term investing, these are the times where you need to be looking for stuff. UNH, I'm setting my alerts for. I told you guys in the 150s I'm gonna get that. A few other ones I was looking at. ASML I talked about already. Tesla I talked about already. PanW I talked about already. Chipotle is another one that I'm looking to add. I actually sold my first round of puts on this yesterday. So if I am able to get filled, I'll be filled on a few hundred shares at $41. Sold those for about $41 per contract, give or take. Qualcomm's another one that I'm looking at. I think this is going to end up filling all of this imbalance here, this BPR that formed. Coca-Cola with a sell-off too. If Coca-Cola gets down into this fair value gap here, this is another spot to add in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I'm going to end the stream here. I mean, it doesn't even seem like there's that many people watching right now anyways. So I wish you guys the best. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's end the week on a green note. Like I said, I had a pretty decent week, so I'm not going to let just one loss here trigger me and go on a spiral for a Friday and end up going red on the week. That makes zero sense. But yeah, I think I had my biggest day of either the first or the second biggest day of the year yesterday, taking shorts. So I will end it there. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a great weekend. And yeah, I will catch you guys on Sunday for the economic calendar. Look at this, guys. This is probably where it's going to dump. But anyways, not going to chase another trade. I'll see you guys on Sunday for the economic calendar and weekly overview. And then I'll catch you guys on Monday for the live stream. Wish you guys the best. Peace out. Have a good one.